Well, you get a whole new perspective, Gordon.
They actually set up a table for you over here. I didn't see that. It was behind you. Well,
Wherever, where you want me?
You're fine, you're fine.
As long as you don't walk real long, it'll be good.
Hey, I won't talk.
And she's like, oh,
I just
yeah.
look for my name, so that's.
Was Alan on the computer?
Was she wanting me
Since I
to,
just-
see if I wanted to do that whole thing?
Yeah, I need. Okay,
Okay,
that's the problem.
So that was.
Yes, that's the problem. I was trying to use an old
no, and that's
thing and I
fine.
changed a lot, but I think that's.
I want to make sure I was understanding. this.
Well,
Nice.
you're the first person to catch on. Glad. 3-4 weeks.
I like the Google Drive.
Do you like that?
Mhm.
I thought we'd try it out both ways this month and next month, and work out the kinks that we have. But then I think if you're able to maneuver in there, you should be able to get through just as fast, if not faster.
Oh, yeah.
To here. It's kind of,
I do like having the supplemental agenda at the meeting. You know,
Yeah.
so we have,
something to kind of check off.
All I know is when she said fatal star, she was like tiptoe, don't fall down, don't fall down.
It's a while since I looked at that stuff on.
How's Lawrence?
I love Lawrence. I'm just gonna tell you, I just like it.
Our daughter got a ticket for jaywalking.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a few years ago.
Wow.
And she didn't cross. Well, she crossed when she crossed in the right area, but just the wrong time or something. So,
Justine,
yeah, she was jaywalk walking.
Jayhawk.
I was waiting for it.
All right, guys, it's 6 o'clock. We've got a big agenda, so we'll get moving. Well, I'm gonna get some math back on. I was eating. All right, we do have an addition to the agenda. So under new business C, it's Greenbush virtual program. And that is all, unless somebody else has something. If not, I need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, where's Alan?
He's just joining right now.
Okay, all right, well, it's 6-0. All right, on the consent, all right, the consent agenda, does anybody have any issues or questions? And does anybody want anything pulled from the consent agenda? Oh, well, we would already done that, my bad. If not, if nobody has any issues or questions from the consent agenda, I need a motion to approve.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, is Alan on?
Do you want to mirror?
I'm gonna try.
Yes.
All right, 7-0. All right, we did have public comments, but I don't see the person here. Is that correct?
The one that initiated at
Right.
the beginning, had asked, and
Is
she
not
said she
here.
couldn't be here tonight. The secondary one that kind of got in on a
Mm-hmm.
thing, I sent her the information and told her what time, and I don't,
All right,
didn't call, so I don't. call the
Okay.
office.
well. All right, we'll just keep moving along, so, all right, reports. Technology,
Yes. This is about the time, sometimes usually earlier in the fall, we kind of start talking about technology. The technology committee this fall was a little unusual because of COVID. And I feel like everybody's kind of, school is kind of going the way it should now. Or as far as people have made the transition to kind of how to teach, whether they're at home or so forth. So this week I had I met with the administrative team. We started talking about, I gave a high level overview of the technology process, asked them to start thinking about tech committee members. Sometimes we have board members that will be on the tech committee, and that's great too. Just starting the process and trying to figure out where we go for next year. We do this every year. Typically, for new board members or very, we try to purchase stuff over the summer, get it ready to deploy, and it's ready for fall. That way we don't do it in the middle of the year and disrupt education. So that's kind of where we're at in the process. Questions?
So are we on a rotation right now? I mean, are we ready for that new rotation?
Our probably our biggest need, at least I told the administrative team, is that our laptops for students in grades 8 through 12 are, this is their year 6. You know what a 6-year-old laptop like, they're really doing quite well. The thing that saved us is that we don't use them over the summer, we store them. And so if you think about that, that's 1.5 years of battery or wear and tear. So really, they're like 4.5-year-old laptops, we'll, you know, push them 5. Could we get another year out of them? Maybe. We've had quite a few issues sometimes with, you know, somebody's got this issue or, hey, my battery, why is it going from 90 to 60 or, you know? So it's probably time to be looking at those devices. I kind of created, well, I did create a 10-year tech plan and a spreadsheet of one scenario just to see how do we sustain this. And historically, if we look back, Alan was here in the beginning. I don't know if anybody, Alan is up to all of you. He's been, Shelby, we're back in the beginning when we had 1-to-1 at the high school. That started 14, 30, forever ago. Mike was even teaching. So we went from that model where we were 1-to-1, let's say at the high school, and then we were 1 device for every 2 students, pretty much everywhere else, maybe even lower than that at the elementary. Well, now we're in a model of, after last year with COVID, K through 12, 1-to-1. Well, the budget has number 2, it's around $230,000. That's not changed in the 24 years I've been here. And that's fine, as long as you can kind of plan. But we're buying more devices. Luckily, devices have gotten cheaper, faster, better. So we've been able to do, you know, those kind of things, student devices, employee devices, and then you have a host of other things, internet, projectors, all kinds of other stuff. So we're trying to figure out, I put together a spreadsheet to show what our options are. And then that's where we got to make decisions. Tom, you've got to stay within this budget. Then the tech committee goes, okay, that's our budget. Or, well, we really think it's more important we spend a little more here, grades, maybe the higher grades. Well, then that may mean more money, and then that's a whole nother discussion. So we're just beginning the process, and the goal is to have something approved later that's or brought to you late spring. Again, we look for volunteers, principals pick the tech committee. Tech does not decide what happens. I at least put together one scenario of how this could work, but there's lots of variables, and we're not close enough to what's going on in the classroom. The first place we need to start is how are things going right now across the district? How did this year go? Is this where we want to continue to go in the future? So it's tech.
So you'll come back when?
Well, we need to get our tech committee together and see how long it takes, and then at some logical time, Bob will say.
So, I mean, here
March
in the
or
next
April, probably.
couple of months or a few months or whatever. Okay, sounds good. Any questions for Tom? Perfect. Okay, so,
Michael, do I have anything to do with this, Michael Kimberly? Mr. McBride's presentation, do I have anything to?
Oh, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? I was listening to Carolyn, but it was totally looking like you were, I was totally focused looking at you guys, but I was listening to what she was saying, so I wasn't listening, I'm sorry.
I have Mr. McBride's
yeah.
So,
presentation, but I don't.
Mr. McBride, I sent that To you guys, did it go out to the board members?
Did not.
Okay, can I, would you like me to show it? I have it queued up on my computer.
You've got it queued up?
Yep.
They go here.
Sorry. Sorry. Carolyn and I were having a side conversation there, and I will take the blame on that. Carolyn's not the fault, obviously. That was my fault.
Yeah, we got it. It's
Yes.
on
It's on our
the Google
thing.
Drive.
Is it on there? I
Yes.
couldn't see it, so.
Report from middle school.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, there it is. As soon as the code comes up. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so Mr. McBride put this together for us. He did not come tonight, but he put this together with the help of his sixth, seventh, and eighth grade technology students. This is just a brief overview of what they do in class. Our sixth graders right now, they are, oops, you must have set timers on it and didn't tell me that.
How fast?
Sorry about that. Sixth grade is working on what is called Code HS, which is a JavaScript basic. That's a coding language that we use when working with computers and internet. Seventh grade is doing an intro to Python, Python 3, and then we use what is called VexIQ robotics, which I'm going to show you. And then eighth grade uses Blender 3D modeling, simulators, and HTML coding. HTML coding basics, that's your internet, your basic internet coding. All grade levels do complete digital citizenship as well, but that's part of the yearly ongoing thing, just learning to be good internet citizens. So starting with sixth grade, again, it's Code HS. So students are actually in a program that steps them through. This is one of our students working on an iPad. As they are stepping and working their way through this material, they're working at their own pace. It's not a, you have to, now, I get paused. Why did it not pause? So they're working at their own pace, and then as they work through, they get rewards for doing things correctly. They get opened up activities, those kinds of things. It's an internal reward system. So the harder you work in the program, the more the program lets you do. They also have the lesson that is really popular with the kids called Bury Ball. Bury Ball is where you basically play fetch with a dog, but you have to code it to play fetch. And so this is an example of Bury Ball. I know it's kind of hard to see up there. But what Bury Ball is you have to actually type in the code and you tell the ball where to move around the grid. And then you have to tell the dog to also chase the ball around the grid. And the better you do at it, the better the dog gets, the smarter the programming becomes. And then you get rewarded within the system. You learn how to do new things. You learn how to move on to new stuff. Seventh grade is working on, see if it'll actually pause this time. Seventh grade is working on, gosh, dang it. This is a good example of technology being smarter than the humans that run it. Because I've hit pause like 5 times. We bought what's called VexIQ. VexIQ is a robotics system. The robotics system allows you to not only use the programming that you're learning, but it also allows you to build what you're then going to program. So this is an example of a VexIQ robotics package. We bought 8 of those packages. Here we go. Bought 8 of those packages so that the kids can work in groups in class. Each package has enough to build like, I think there's like 800 different kits or instructional kits that you can buy, and then you can build and do different activities because it's gears and mechanical based. You can make it do just about anything. But then you also have to code and you have to tell the brain, the actual robotic piece, what to do. So there are different things that the kids can do. This is one that we had talked about, the test for durability of a tower. This is one lesson that the kids learned out of all the different things they were able to try. This is just one example. So what they had to do is they had to not only build the tallest tower, gosh dang it, come on, well, build the tallest tower that they could, But then they also have to build the actual shaking unit, the earthquake unit. Okay, that one wasn't my fault. Airplay went off. Or somebody else grabbed it. Somebody else overtook me. There we go. They actually had to build the actual earthquake machine that shakes their tower. So this, in these two little quick videos here, you'll see a couple of kids. So that's the earthquake tower. I don't know if you can tell, if you can see the bottom is rotating, and as it does, it shakes the little table. And then on top of it, they had to build a tower for durability, and they had to see how long that their tower would last. The longer it lasts, the more durable it is, that kind of an experiment. That one actually went really, really well. That tower never came off the earthquake table, which is really impressive because most of them fall pretty quickly. This tower on the right-hand side did not last quite as long. It's a little bit shorter. You'll see it here in just a second. It actually takes a little tumble. There it goes. It actually, what it was doing, you couldn't see it in the video very well, but as it was shaking, it was the whole building was walking to the right. And as it walked to the right, it eventually fell off the shaking table. 8th grade is working out. Gosh, dang it. Tom, is somebody else getting on? The Apple, it keeps kicking me off. Third time I've had to get back in. It's like somebody else is trying to take it over.
It's probably the student.
Shouldn't be too far. I'm not too far away.
No, well,
Okay, so the 8th graders, they actually are working beyond just coding. They are also working in HTML coding, so they're getting more into the internet-based coding. But then we also do a program that's called Blender. Blender is a 3D development. Wasn't even touching it. It's a 3D development program, which makes hyper-realistic looking items, 3D items. The cool thing is we can then use Blender to turn around and go right into our 3D printer, and our students are actually able to print items. We didn't get it into this program, but one of our students actually, he has bought an old pickup and he's restoring it with his dad. And one of the things it doesn't have is it doesn't have a cup holder in the center, like in the middle of the dash. Old trucks didn't have that. They had what? Ashtrays. So what he did was he made in Blender, he has actually developed and built his own cup holder, which attaches to the ashtray because he doesn't want the ashtray. So it actually retrofits into the ashtray, and he actually has 2 spots to put like water bottles or cups. And he was able to develop that in Blender, and then we have 3D printed it, started real small, doing mock-ups, built it up to full size. He now has a cup holder in his pickup that he's restoring with his dad. I don't want to fight it to try to get it back up there. There are a couple of pictures also of our students doing the simulators. The simulators are really cool this year that we are using. Instead of them being just video-based type simulators, which a lot of simulators are, we actually have a full driving course simulator. So instead of, crash them up, jump your car off the bridge, that kind of, video game type stuff, it's literally learning how to drive. So the kids are actually controlling the car. They're going through obstacle courses, much like a driver's ed program. We do also have a flight simulator, so they're learning how to fly planes too. Maybe not quite as realistic, but sitting in and watching the kids, it's very intense what they're going through. It's a very immersive system. And the last one, I wasn't going to pull it back up again, but I got to show you this one. So if you guys don't have this in front of you, I want you to see it. We have a student who struggles in class. He's having a really hard time finding what he wants to do. And one of the teachers made a request for class. She said, man, I wish I had a better example of what a human heart looks like in class so I could talk to you guys about the valves of the heart. She said, I just don't have a good one. I used to, but it's broke and the pieces fall apart. So he actually got with Mr. McBride. They worked on it. They found one online. They refined it because a lot of the items that we pull offline are real rough. So you have to go in and tweak things and set the parameters on the printers. And he was actually able to 3D print with Mr. McBride's assistance, not for a grade, not for class, because he wanted to, but they were able to print a 3D model of a human heart. The pictures don't do it justice. It's so detailed. You look down into the arteries and you can see the valves inside the heart. I mean, it's a super intense, very real, hyper realistic looking item. And it's just kind of cool to see that the kids are getting excited because technology is a very hands-on thing. And I would say probably 98% of Mr. McBride's class is hands-on, and the kids just absolutely love it. I apologize that we were fighting with Apple TV. It didn't go the way I wanted it to, but Tracy did put it in your folder. So if you wanted to watch it again later, it is in there for you. And obviously, if you have questions about it, I'll take them. If not, Mr. McBride would love anytime. I know Terry has talked about stopping by just to check out some of the stuff that they're doing. Obviously, open door, stop by anytime and check out what they're doing in the technology lab.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, is that all for technology?
That is it.
Okay, Bob, do you want to take that quick one or?
Whatever you like to do, Madam President. Your choice.
Okay, all right, our public comment person is here, so we're gonna take a quick, we're gonna go into executive session really quick.